Hello and a very good morning to all of you and welcome to Grade Up. This is Daily Current Affairs on Grade Up IAS YouTube channel. My name is Kumar Prateek and I teach economy and current affairs on Grade Up platform. I welcome you all again today for Daily Current Affairs for today. The first topic which we have to cover for today is Odisha introduces fish in nutrition scheme. Why is this in news? Because the Odisha government is set to introduce fish and fish-based product in supplementary nutrition program for children, pregnant and nursing women and adolescent girls. So this is to improve nutrition in children and women. A memorandum of understanding in this regard was signed between the state government and the World Fish, which is a non-profit organization. The pilot program will start soon in 50 Anganwadi Center is Mayurbhanj district in Odisha. What is World Fish Organization? It is an international non-profit research organization that harnesses the potential of fishery and aquaculture to strengthen livelihood and to improve food and nutritional security across people. World Fish is the member of Consultative Group for International Agricultural Research, a global research partnership for a food secure future. Globally, more than 1 billion people obtain most of their animal protein from fish, and 800 million people across the world are dependent on fisheries and aquaculture for their livelihood. Next, the other scheme launched by Odisha government are Odisha government has also launched several schemes like Millet Mission, Iron Plus Initiative to boost nutrition amongst the Odissan people, especially children and tribal population of Odisha. State must work to ensure nobody is left under the Poshan Abhiyan. Now, what is Odisha Millet Mission? It is known as a special program for promotion of millets in tribal areas of Odisha and was launched by government of Odisha in 2017 to revive millets in farm and on plate. The aim of this scheme is to tackle malnutrition because India has been ranked 94th on Global Hunger Index. So, fighting malnutrition and hunger is essential. Thus, the aim of tackling malnutrition by introducing millet in public distribution system and other state nutrition scheme is an essential component of fighting malnutrition in Odisha. Next, Iron Plus Initiative. The Ministry of Health and Welfare in 2013 launched Iron Plus Initiative, National Iron Plus Initiative, a comprehensive strategy to combat the public health challenge of iron deficiency, especially anemia in women and adolescent girls. There are 8 specific interventions with iron and folic acid supplements, deworming for improving hemoglobin levels and reducing prevalence of anemia in all age groups, especially in women. This is GS paper 2, health issues, an important scheme. The source is Indian Express. Now, let's move to the next topic. The next topic is government forms an interministerial panel to boost country's capital goods sector. So, as you know, India has always tried to focus on capital good industry since 1956 when it adopted Mahalanobis strategy of development. There the focus was on heavy industrialization and capital good industry. So even today, government has set up 22-member interministerial committee for strengthening India's capital goods sector through interventions that help contributing more actively towards achieving the target of 5 trillion economy and 1 trillion in this should be from manufacturing sector, and that is why capital good industry has been emphasized. The chairman of this interministerial committee will work under the Secretary Department of Heavy Industry. The mandate of this committee is that it will look into the issues pertaining to capital goods sector, including technology development, mother technology development, global value chain, testing, skill development, global standards, reciprocity issues, and custom duty to make this sector globally competitive so that exports can be increased and to make manufacturing, capital good manufacturing in India as a hub for the world. The panel will help Department of Heavy Industry to take a holistic view and address all the issues pertaining to capital good industry sector. This is GS paper 3, economics, the source is the Hindu. Now, the third topic, 20th Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. The 20th Shanghai Cooperation Organization Council of Head of State was held under the chairmanship of Russia. SCO is a permanent intergovernmental international organization founded in 2001, and the founding members were Kazakhstan, China, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. So the focus is on Central Asian region. Currently, the member of SCO have increased. Now China, India, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Pakistan, Russia, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan are the members of SCO. India and Pakistan were admitted to SCO as permanent members in 2017. Observer status is being given to Afghanistan, Belarus, Iran, and Mongolia in SCO. The official working language of Shanghai Cooperation Organization is Chinese and Russian. The SCO Secretariat is based in Beijing, and this is the permanent executive body of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. The Council of Head of State is the top decision-making body in the HCO setup. They meet once a year and adopt decisions and guidelines on all the important matters relating to SCO. The goal of SCO is to strengthen mutual trust amongst member nations, encourage the feeling of neighborliness among member nations. It wants to promote effective cooperation in politics, trade, economy, research, technology, culture, education, energy, transport, tourism, environment protection, and especially security. Now, under this, there is a mechanism called RATS. RATS here means Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure. It is a permanent organ of SCO which serves to promote cooperation of member state against terrorism, separatism, and extremism. This RATS is headquartered in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. All SCO members except China, India, and Pakistan are also member of Eurasian Economic Community. So India, China, and Pakistan are not. Thus, the topic here is GS Paper 2 International Organization. The source is the Hindu newspaper. Moving on to the next topic. The next topic is Operation Greens, tops to total scheme. Recently, under the Operation Green scheme, tops to total, 50% transportation subsidy is now made available to air transportation of 41 notified fruits and vegetables from northeastern and Himalayan states in any place in the world. So if fruits and vegetables are being transported from northeastern and Himalayan state to any other state, 50% transport subsidy will be available for air transportation. In relaxation of other condition for Operation Greens, tops to total scheme for transportation through airline from eligible airports, all consignment of notified fruits and vegetable, irrespective of quantity and price, would be eligible for 50% freight subsidy, that is transport cost subsidy. The transportation subsidy was earlier extended under Operation Greens scheme for rail Kisan Rail scheme. So earlier this subsidy was also given for railways, and this will be effective from 12th October 2020. The railway will only charge 50% transport cost for notified fruits and vegetables. Which are the eligible airport? Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, Tripura from northeast, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Union Territory of J&K and Ladakh are among the hilly states which will be eligible under this scheme. Another thing to notice is India's first Kisan Special Parcel Train or Kisan Rail has started from August 7 and will transport material from Maharashtra Devlali to Bihar's Danapur. This is GS paper 2, governance. The source is PIB. The next topic which we have to cover for today is schemes for financial support to public-private partnership in infrastructure viability gap funding scheme. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has approved continuation and revamping of scheme for financial support to public-private partnership in infrastructure viability gap funding scheme till 2024-25. What is viability gap funding scheme? Department of Economic Affairs under the Ministry of Finance has introduced scheme for financial support to PPP in infrastructure through viability gap funding since 2006. The revamped scheme is mainly related to introduction of following two sub-schemes for mainstreaming private participation in social infrastructure. Sub-scheme 1 would cater to social sectors such as wastewater treatment plant, that PPP model will be encouraged here, water supply, solid waste management, health and education sector. The projects eligible under this scheme would have 100% operational cost recovery. Central government will provide maximum up to 30% total project cost as viable gap funding, and state and government and sponsoring central ministry and statutory entities may provide additional 30% to this total project cost. Sub-scheme 2 under this viability gap funding scheme is sub-scheme will support demonstration and pilot social service sector projects. The projects may be from health and education sector where there is at least 50% operational cost recovery. In such projects, central government and state government together will provide 80% of the capital expenditure and up to 50% of operation and maintenance cost for first 5 years. What will be the benefit? The aim of the scheme is to provide and promote PPP model of development in social and economic infrastructure, leading to an efficient creation of assets, ensuring that proper operation and maintenance is carried out, which will make economic and socially essential project commercially viable. What will be the impact? Revamping the proposed viability gap scheme will attract more PPP projects and facilitate private investment in social sectors such as health, education, wastewater, solid waste management, water supply, etc. Creation of new hospitals, schools will also create opportunities to focus on our human resource and employment generation. This is GS paper 3, Economics. The source is PIB, Press Information Bureau. The next topic for today is Operation Thunder 2020. Recently, India's customs intercepted 18 tons of shipments of red sandalwood destined for UAE during the Operation Thunder 2020. Operation Thunder 2020 is the fourth in series of Thunder operation carried out annually since 2017. Operation Thunder 2020 is a month-long operation coordinated by Interpol, World Customs Organization, which involves law enforcement agencies from 103 countries. The operation was organized against environmental crimes. It resulted in seizure of protected wildlife, forestry specimen and products, triggering arrests and investigations all across the world. What are the priority species under the Operation Thunder 2020? It mostly focused on species protected under Convention of International Trade in endangered species of wild fauna and flora. This is GS paper 3, Environment. The source is Press Information Bureau. Moving on, G20 Debt Service Supervision Initiative. Recently, Union Minister of Finance had participated in first BRICS Finance Minister and Central Bank Governors meeting under the BRICS Russian chairmanship. The Finance Minister observed that the G20, of which all BRICS nations are the member, has delivered significant initiatives such as G20 Debt Service Suspension Initiative and G20 action plans in response of COVID-19. Under the G20 Debt Service Suspension Initiative, which was launched in April 2020 following G20 Finance Minister and Central Bank Governors meeting, this initiative for a time-bound suspension for loan repayment, both principal and interest, for countries which request. Eligible countries can apply for this initiative to 76 countries that are eligible to receive the assistance from World Bank's International Development Association and all nations defined as least developed countries by the United Nations. Eligible countries must be current on any debt service to IMF and World Bank. So countries with areas to those institutions will be ineligible to participate. If you have already taken loan from IMF and World Bank, then you are ineligible under this scheme. What are the criterion for participation under this initiative? The criterion are G20 agreed a common term sheet setting out key features and conditions to be eligible for this debt relief. For getting access to this initiative will be limited to countries which have made a formal request for debt service suspension from creditors and are benefiting from or have made a request to IMF management for IMF financing, including emergency facilities. For how long this initiative will last? This initiative applies from 1st November 2020 until the end of this year, with a possible extension based on the individual liquidity needs of eligible countries. The initiative would be achieved through either rescheduling or refinancing the debt, which again could give rise to concern under other financing agreements. So this is the G20 Debt Service Initiative. This is GS paper 3, Economics. The source is PIB and whitecase.com. So this was today's daily current affairs. Before I end now, here is a shortcut to prepare for polity section for IAS examination. Covering this entire syllabus, because polity syllabus is quite vast, can be very difficult because you'll have to refer to various sources. So now GradeUp is offering you one-stop solution for each of these problems, be it daily current affairs, be it editorial analysis, be it from important magazines. complete polity syllabus coverage will be provided to you by our Grade Up. So grade up now and start preparing for IAS 2021. Currently, we are running a IAS 2021 comprehensive course on GS prelims and mains. This course offers you 350 live GS classes, both for prelims as well as mains, 325 quick notes for revision, additional classes for Yojana, India Yearbook, Kurukshetra, magazine, and CSAT. Now, 30 plus mock tests for prelims, in which 20 sectional and 10 full length tests, 20 GS tests for mains, 2 essay tests, 7 previous year papers to get your all this will be provided so that you are exam ready. 5,000 plus practice questions will be provided to you. So much is being given under this comprehensive course. Now, with our Grade Up Super subscription for UPSC exam, you get access to 11 plus structured live courses, 60 plus mock tests. Here you will be helped by full syllabus coverage. You will be taught by expert faculties. There will be complete doubt resolution, and at the end of each class, you will be given a performance and report card. We are offering you 3 subscription plans, a 6-month, 12 months, or a 24-month subscription plan. So, multiple options. Moving on, every day we are conducting free classes for you guys on our Grade Up platform. Daily editorial analysis at 12 p.m. UPSC EPFO classes, Lakshya EPFO 2020 at 5 p.m. Special 5 lecture series, a short series to help you cover A to Z of every topic every week 7 p.m. Then GS for IAS, we are running this lecture series, IAS 2021 Ranker series at 8 p.m. and daily current affairs on our Grade Up app will be provided to you on 9 p.m. every day. Our ongoing courses under the Grade Up Super subscription are IAS 2021, a comprehensive course for GS prelims cum mains, both English and Hindi. IAS 2020 mains exam comprehensive course, UPSC EPFO 2020 course, a complete NCERT module for civil services examination both in English as well as in Hindi. Then we are running an economic and social development course for IAS, Indian and world geography course for IAS. Our upcoming courses are environment and ecology, Indian polity and governance, history of India and international movement, and general science. All this for IAS examination. So many courses are being offered to you under Grade Up subscription. So my suggestion would be to subscribe. With this, I take your leave. We are on the eve of Diwali, so I wish you all a very happy and a prosperous Diwali. Thank you very much, guys.